All right, well, let's move on to the discussion part of the show, which is basically about D23. What is it if you're not aware of it? And what are some things that we think we might expect to hear? Not really predictions, but looking at the tea leaves.
I am not expecting all of this. I'm hoping for this. That is what I'm saying.
I'll let you go off of hope. Okay. I will go off of what I'll say what they should do and what I think they actually will do. I actually think they'll do quite a bit this time because they have a lot of pressure on them.
Okay. But I'm holding on to hope.
Yeah. Well, the last two D23s have not been, I would say, giant hits, as the last two have been just blue sky. A lot of the fans were left very shortchanged, I think the feeling is. And on this one, given, Epic Universe opening very soon, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of people are demanding. And Disney basically has come out and said, without really saying, like, we're going to announce a lot of stuff. They've talked about the $17 billion investment that they're going to do. So there's a lot of things I think they're going to announce for sure. So I don't think this one's going to be another blue sky event. All right, we're going to go into some of this stuff is what we hope to hear. Some of this stuff is what I think is likely that we're going to hear about. But we'll start with Magic Kingdom. And the first one, I suppose, the biggest one would be Beyond Big Thunder.
Yes.
Now, this has all been... Did they actually say they were... this was a blue sky. They didn't confirm this is what they were going to do in the last D23, correct?
Right. So, yeah, they teased this hardcore in 2022 at the Destination D23 event.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the expansion. Well, you know more about this than I do. So what expansion area are they talking about?
Well, this would be behind, Beyond Big Thunder, behind all of that. That is the, anticipated thing they would do. Now, there are permits that have been filed, so this is one of those that I think is happening.
Yeah, and this is the area, like, behind where, like, the railroad goes, behind Rivers of America. So there's a whole bunch of green space back there. There's also some backstage area as well. So, but there is a lot of space to work with.
There is, and there's a lot of rumors as to what this could entail. I don't know if they'll announce this. I think the thing that would be the biggest hit out of anything they can announce at D23 that I think is likely is that and the rumor was about this was there was going to be a Villain's Land in part of this Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. If they announce a Villain's Land, I think that would be the thing that most people would be the most excited for.
I agree.
And if they pulled it off and they did it right, I think it would be a really big hit and a really big draw for Magic Kingdom specifically. Now, obviously, it goes into, like, how do they set it up? A lot of people say, Maleficent's castle, like, however they do it. But, there was a rumor for a long time that they're going to do an entire Villain's theme park. And I never thought an entire Villain's theme park worked. But I think a villain-based land works really well. And you could theoretically make it sort of connected to Fantasyland as well if you look at, like, an overall map of it.
You could make it work.
Yeah. So that's a rumor. I don't know. Now, I think Beyond Big Thunder is happening. I just don't know if the villains aspect of it is going to be in there because apparently this is going to be in phases, phase 1, phase 2, whatever. So the other rumor would be also that attached to basically to Big Thunder would be like Cars Land.
Yeah,
we've talked about that. I actually think it's almost likely because Disney likes to do this. They like to take stuff in existing parks because I think what they're probably going to do is we've talked about before, phase out Frontierland to make that more New Orleans with Tiana's right there, but make Big Thunder Mountain part of, like, almost this desert scape area where you would have cars.
So you think they're going to do that? I think they're going to retheme Frontierland and, like, change Pico Spills and all that stuff?
Now, if that's happening this D23, I don't know. I think that is what they will do, which the timing of this would make sense that they would go ahead and announce that. But I'm not, I will put it this way. I'm not going to say they are doing it. I just won't be surprised. Because I felt all along, they already got rid of the Frontier Shooting Gallery. We've heard rumors have been Pecos Builds is going to go away. So it's all been confirmed almost. The only thing that makes it doesn't make a lot of sense is you got Country Bears right there. I don't know how you make that part of...
They just updated
it. So I don't really know how you make that part of New Orleans. But again, they could. But we'll see what they do on that front. But you also have potentially Tortuga Tavern becoming a Pirates-themed lounge.
Yeah, that's been a rumor, and they kind of alluded to that, and they're doing some construction there now.
I think they said it is going to happen, so I think we're going to get more details about that, which I think that's a great thing. I think that'll be a huge hit back there. Now,
they didn't say where, though. That was the thing. But we just assumed that it's going to be Tortuga Tavern.
You would almost have to. They've got a lot of space in Tortuga Tavern. It's not really a utilized spot, so it would make a lot of sense to put there.
Right now, it's kind of blocked off, and they've made it into, like, a merchandise location, but it's just temporary. So
I think more of these we've talked about before on the cruise ship. They're doing the Haunted Mansion bar. I think more of
I
these would
know.
be a huge hit in the parks.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Definitely.
yeah. Next one we could talk about is a nighttime parade. That has been rumored for a while.
I think this is likely. I'm really hoping this is going to happen, but I actually think this is likely. Like if this is going to be one of those panels that is not a ton of stuff that they announce, and like you said, shows and parades, I think this could be likely.
So I think this is basically pretty concrete that it'll happen
Okay.
because I think in the short term, they don't have whatever they announce in this on some level is a response to Epic Universe, but none of this is going to have an impact next year, obviously. The one thing that could, and the rumor and what I keep hearing is Disney is basically going to, not really having anything on that level, but as an answer somewhat to Epic Universe are parades and shows.
Yeah.
So I think them bringing in a nighttime parade, new shows, things like that, like meet and greets, I think this is what they're going to do to sort of try and get people to, like, again, I don't think you're going to get anybody that's like, oh, let's go to Epic Universe. Like, wait a minute, there's a parade at Magic Kingdom. But I think what they may do is say, while we're at Epic Universe, let's go check out that parade that they got going on Magic Kingdom. I think that may be the mindset with that. So I think a nighttime parade, it's something people have wanted for years.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I think that the fan base would like it. And I think it's an easy win for them, and it's not going to cost them a lot of money, and they can turn it around pretty quick.
Yep.
So I think that'll probably happen.
Yep. For sure.
What's the next one you got on the list here?
Stitch's Great Escape. Are we going to replace that with anything? We had talked about, I think it was a couple months ago, we had talked about the fact that it bumps up against cosmic rays and anti-gravities, and like you'd have to change some of those areas as well.
There's a rumor there's something about the structure of the building.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if they'll actually do anything with this, or just going to be like flex space to use. I don't know. But it maybe they'll announce something.
You'd think at some point they would. It's been empty for a long time.
I want to say 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Long?
I mean, it's one of those, if they did have anything about this, I think this would be, if you wanted to talk about something being a blue sky idea, this could be one where they do a blue sky idea about this. Because I just don't think that it's going to be the thing that they're going to try and, I don't think it's high on their priority list. I'll put it that way.
Sure. I'm just hoping.
Yeah. No, they need to. I mean, I would say something needs to happen there. I mean, how long is it going to be empty before you put something that was in there? But and the last one that we have in Magic Kingdom would be, and this one I actually think has some credence, given that there was a patent for it recently filed. But Moana themed boat ride in Adventureland.
Yeah, they did that patent for it.
I did a video on the YouTube channel. Was they did file a patent for, it's a unique type of flume ride where basically you twist and turn on it to look at different set pieces. And if you look at the patent for it, it clearly looks like a Moana boat.
Okay.
I think this has some legs.
But where in Adventureland?
I don't know. I mean, the worst case scenario there, if they get rid of the tiki room.
Oh. I do not. I don't have enough room.
I don't know where it would go. Adventureland, theming wise, makes sense. I just don't know where you would put it in the space that you have utilized there.
Frontierland?
I mean, I guess this could be one of those things where it ends up in Animal Kingdom, which I think would probably fit there as well.
Okay. It
so
could, I guess.
Whether it's Adventureland or Animal Kingdom, personally, I just don't know where in Adventureland you would put it. But I think you do have plenty of space. You could find a spot for it over in Animal Kingdom. And that would work as well. But now, the thing is, a lot of people pointed out, why would, a lot of this stuff has been looking at Magic Kingdom. I think the reason they're gonna put a lot of effort and money into Magic Kingdom still, even though Magic Kingdom is the #1 visited theme park in the entire world, from a market standpoint, Disney, whatever Epic Universe impact has, they do not want that to affect Magic Kingdom. And I think if the numbers,
for sure.
I think they expect it to hit Animal Kingdom, probably the other parks as well. But if Magic Kingdom stays pat and they don't lose numbers on Magic Kingdom, I think for them, they're pretty happy with that. They'll never, I don't think they're going to come out and say this, but if they do see an impact to Magic Kingdom, that's a point in which Disney's like, oh no, that's not good. So I think bolstering their most popular park with more of these things. And again, if they did the Villains Land, like I think you would more than bolster. I think you would you're making your strongest park even stronger. That's why I think they're going to put quite a bit of the money into Magic Kingdom as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But just from a, how you're going to stand in the market. But the next park we'll talk about, which is the one where I think is going to get a lot of attention, which is Animal Kingdom. So obviously the Tropical Americas. I think we're going to
Yep.
get a lot of details about this.
Well, we know from Destination D23 last year that it will be an area that celebrates Encanto mostly, and Dinosaur is supposedly getting a Indiana Jones overlay. Not the one specifically to Temple of Forbidden Eye, not specifically like in Disneyland, but like a new story.
Yeah.
That's what we saw last year, and I think it's happening. I think it's going to happen.
They're definitely doing something.
They're doing
they've
something.
got permits filed. They've all but said this is happening.
Yep.
And Animal Kingdom, again, needs a lot of stuff. It needs more attractions, so they're desperately in need of more things to do. So I think this is something that would be a good addition. Now, I guess you could get into semantics about, like, does Encanto and Indiana Jones fit Animal Kingdom? You know, I think, I don't know. In the current iteration of Disney, I think they'll definitely go out of their way to make things fit that maybe traditionally would not have.
Yeah.
But I do love Indiana Jones. Don't get me wrong. I will see how they do it. I just don't know on its face when they first presented it. I was like, Indiana Jones, but he is an archaeologist, so I guess you could go that route with it. But
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, he chases artifacts.
right, yeah. It's not the most, like, it doesn't in my head make sense in Animal Kingdom completely, but I think it is happening on some level. So I think we'll get more details about that.
Okay.
Because they did have some water management permits that were filed for
this past spring.
Yeah, so
Construction. Yeah, the trailers going back in there. Yeah.
right. Now, one thing, and this is a rumor out there, and if you look at the Horizons poster, it is in there. You have like a Simba inside in the Tree of Life on that poster. There is a rumor about a Lion King attraction that would be coming to Animal Kingdom. Now, I don't know how much legs that has.
About that.
I think that would be almost on the same level as a Villain's Land. I think it's silly to me that they don't have a Lion King like ride in Animal Kingdom. You can make an argument that Animal Kingdom wouldn't exist if it was not for Lion King's success.
Yeah.
So I think of any park, it fits the most there. So if it was me, I would do it. No, that's a rumor that's out there. I have no idea if that's something that they'll do, but I think if they did do it, I think that would be a really good thing. I think that would be a big draw, personally speaking.
Okay. And they also might do a Pandora expansion. They're talking about Pandora in Disneyland Forward, which, we're not talking about Disneyland today, but they could expand into Pandora at least in the next 5 or 6, 20 years.
I mean, they're going to do 19 of these other movies, and James Cameron's going to live to be 250 years old to do them. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that Disney now owns Pandora, technically, before it was not a thing where they owned, so it's likely. I mean, Pandora's a great land.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, they could do another ride back there for sure. And then you have, of course, they did announce that Zootopia was going to be where A Bug's Life is now, so they'll probably have more details about that.
Right.
And construction dates and things. I think a lot of this stuff in Animal Kingdom, you're going to get more solid dates on, like, when is construction going to start.
Yeah,
all that
I
stuff
think
like
so
that.
too.
But I think that's all I've heard when it comes to Animal Kingdom, and that stuff's pretty.
Yeah.
For the most part, outside the Lion King thing, the rest of that's pretty much. I wouldn't say in concrete, but it's pretty much going to happen more than likely.
Maybe Pandora. I don't know about that one. That one's more.
Well,
hopeful.
sorry, the Pandora as well. We'll see, but for Disneyland for sure, I think it'll happen. But.
And Hollywood Studios, I don't think I have heard anything about Hollywood Studios. I don't think they're doing anything there.
I mean, I have a wish list.
Well,
I would love for them to just retheme Galaxy's Edge to include all of the trilogies, all of the Star Wars trilogies.
That's not happening.
I think if they did do that, that would be something that would be, again, an easy win for them. But
they're not going to do that.
I think eventually they'll be forced to.
Yeah, but I mean, in the next 10 years, nah.
I bet you. I bet you within the next 10 years they do it.
Okay, deal. I'll bet you.
Deal.
They will not.
Because
they will not change Galaxy's Edge in the next.
The
10
reason
years.
being, Star Wars as a brand continues to just be tanking, and the only thing that people are gonna want to still see is the prequels in the original trilogy. That's what my thinking comes into when you have a land based on an IP on one segment of the IP only, which is the sequel trilogy, which most people, let's be honest, are rather indifferent to at best. I think you're going to be forced to. And again, why not just include all of it? Like, learn from what Universal's done with Wizarding World. Just immerse people into stuff they know. If you include the original trilogy in the prequels, that opens you up to a whole other group of people that want to come check this stuff out. From a theme park space, that makes the most sense. But we'll see.
Well,
I
don't agree with this as being a hopeful announcement this week. It won't happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I said a wish list.
Okay.
We'll move on to talk about Epcot. Now, Epcot just got done with his transformation quote, overhaul, but they do have Test Track, which they'll probably have more information about that because that is currently under construction.
Yeah, I think there'll be more concrete information. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking about that one, but yeah.
Yeah. And then I suppose, I don't think this is going to happen, but they could address or get information about things that we didn't get in the big transformation, which is like the Play Pavilion, Mary Poppins, Spaceship Earth revamp, all those things.
Maybe Figment.
I don't think that they're doing any of that.
I know.
I don't think. I literally think you'll get a little
bad.
bit about Test Track, and that'll be it. I think they consider the Epcot overhaul to be done.
Yeah. I think you're right. I don't think they're gonna say anything about Epcot except for Test Track.
I think
at least not this weekend.
Right. I think most of the attention is going to be on Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
With the slight chance again that you could see something maybe. I think out of Epcot and Hollywood Studios, I think you're more likely to see something out of Hollywood Studios than you would be Epcot, considering they just got done with everything over there. But,
yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about. There is something on the hotel side we could see. So.
What about Galactic Star Cruiser? Will they do anything with that, Jared? Is that just defunct? Are we just bye-bye on that forever, or what do you think?
I don't know. They've hinted that they're not done with it, but I think the idea of it. I think the idea of that hotel could work, but I think the way which they did the first time obviously didn't work. If you do see anything with this, I think it could be like a dinner and a show type thing, which we had talked about. Like, why not just do that? But I suppose you could see that building get used for something. I suppose. Maybe dinner and a show or something along those lines, but I don't think you're going to be seeing another Galactic Star Cruiser hotel announced, put it that way.
Oh, no. No, I just meant like, are they going to do something with it? But
that's one they could have some sort of announcement about that, given they have hinted at it, but again, they may just be like whatever. Like they took the tax breaks on that one and maybe just moving on. But
yeah.
Now one that's interesting is kind of a later. This is happening the last little bit. Is that hotel that was supposed to be like the River Country, where the hotel was going to go into River Country Reflections,
a lakeside resort,
right? So months ago they had re-upped the permits for that. Like they were going to expire. They sort of re-upped them, and you were just sort of like,
why?
Okay.
Okay.
Apparently there's some new permits that have been filed in that area, so it looks like that hotel could happen.
Yeah. So the permit that's been filed, it would be for work in the area, kind of in the, I don't know, just in like inlet, I guess, between where the end of the lakeside cabins are, like the Cascade cabins for Copper Creek, and like the land that kind of hits up against Fort Wilderness in the construction area, because the permit actually shows some of the addresses for what they're talking about. I forgot what the Wilderness Way or something is what it's called. And some of those addresses match what the other permit was for Reflections. So you're like, oh, so this is the same area you're talking about.
Right.
So that's why everyone's saying, okay, they're going to just redo Reflections. The only thing is the expiration date for the construction permit is for March of 2027. That's a pretty big, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So that also is indicated like, okay, maybe it could be something and not just construction of Wilderness Lodge or something.
Yeah, I think they could announce this hotel's still going to happen, which I don't think we need any more DVC hotels, if I'm being quite honest. But
at least no more towers.
Well,
stop with the towers.
I think what would be a bigger announcement that would be for, DVC obviously makes them money, but it's also a niche group of even the Disney people that are DVC owners. So outside of the DVC owners, like most people, I don't think it moves the needle. I mean, we love Riviera and we've rented points and stuff like that to stay there before, but it doesn't move the needle versus, let's say, if they came out and said we're building a brand new value resort that much on the level, like maybe like a value plus type of resort.
Yep.
I think that would be something that people could get really excited about, especially given
they could actually stay there.
They could actually, instead of just being these super expensive places, they could stay there. It has all these cool things. I think that would go a long ways. Let
me ask you a question. We talked about this in Club 32 live stream last night. What do you think about, and I think you brought this up, do you think they'll ever take Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs and make it a DVC resort?
They could.
Like just the tower. I mean, they have just, the towers over at Polynesian, and there's certain spaces of these resorts. And now that Fort Wilderness will be having the DVC cabins.
Right.
and they have the campground still. Like, who's to say they won't do that with other moderates like Coronado, where you have distinctly different tower in the middle of your resort? Why not just make that DVC?
I mean, they definitely could.
They definitely could.
It's a weird in that the tower is almost like a premier or a deluxe hotel, and the rest of the resort is moderate. The only thing about that one being it was built because Coronado is it's a convention hotel, and they were wanting a place where basically the higher ups wanted to stay at a nicer thing than just a moderate resort. I suppose that's the only thing that would work against it is that. But you also do have what is it over there? Swan and Dolphin, the new one they built.
Swan Reserve.
Swan Reserve is similar to that as well. Now that's not owned by Disney, but it's possible they could. I mean, I would not be shocked because even they've already done that on some of the resorts. But
yeah, no, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, but no, I think something else other than DVC resorts would be a needle mover. But at this point, I haven't heard anything about it.
They're going to say
I don't have much hope for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next thing could be, Disney Springs has that drone show. Does that stay at Disney Springs? Or I think the logical thing would be that drone show moves over into Animal Kingdom.
Because right now it's supposed to end September 2nd. So is it going to still end at September 2nd? Are they going to extend its stay over at Disney Springs? Or like you said, move it over to Animal Kingdom?
I think it's such an easy, to me, it's a no-brainer. Just move it over to Animal Kingdom. Like give it a nighttime show, put it over there in the theater that's over the water, because drones, you don't want them over people.
Yep.
That thing's over water.
Yep.
It gives you a nighttime show to check out at Animal Kingdom, and then Animal Kingdom can be open actually at night, where you can take advantage of like Pandora and things like that at night. So I think it would be, I think it would be something that would be useful, but whether or not they will do that, I don't know. They may just leave it at Disney Springs. I don't know. Maybe they've seen an uptick in people buying stuff at Disney Springs, and who knows? If that's the case, they may leave it because more people are just at Disney Springs buying stuff.
Possibly.
But one would think that show would move on. And I guess the other one we could talk about, we don't think this is going to happen, but some people have predicted that Disney will have a 5th park announcement.
I don't think so.
I've said for a long time that they need to flush out their existing parks before they look at doing a 5th gate. And let's be honest. I mean, look at the current state of maintenance with the rides, and things have been pointed out about, like, some of the trash that's been in the parks. I think before you add another theme park that is a whole other layer of operations and staffing and all these things, I think you need to get those issues sorted out first before you start looking at adding on another theme park. Plus, if you think Disney's expensive now, once they add another gate, it's going to be way more expensive.
Yeah.
So I don't think they need it. Now, I think within the next 10 years, they could announce it. But again, even if they announced it at D23, I mean, that thing probably wouldn't be done for a decade at the rate in which Disney builds, which kind of goes into all this stuff they're announcing at D23. I think this is, a lot of this stuff, like obviously not all of this, but some of this stuff is going to be announced. I guess the question comes into, depending on what they announce, like how excited is the fan base going to be for it? And then really, like, especially looking at the Epcot, what they did with Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza, I think until it's done and built, I think a lot of people are just going to look at it and go, okay, we'll see. Yeah. Like, are you going to, look at what the things they didn't do versus the things that they did do and what it looked like versus the concept art. So I think at this point, Disney has a lot of things they have to prove to their audience that they're going to do the things they say they're going to do. And then how long does it take you to build it? Is it going to take you 3 to 5 years? Because I've said for a while, whatever they announce here, we're not going to see until closer to 2028. Yeah. At earliest, maybe.
Right.
So, and again, I think you're giving a lot of runway for Epic Universe, whether how big of a success that's going to be. That's a lot of runway to give them. Yeah. In terms of the impact it's going to have. So, I think they'll have a lot of announcements. They could have some things on here we don't know about. I wouldn't be surprised about it.
There'll definitely be something we have no idea.
Yeah. But I think it really just comes down to is like, when do shovels hit the ground? How quickly are you going to be getting this done? And hopefully they do feel the pressure to not only announce these things, but to get them done quickly. And which again, I think
that's a big thing.
Right. And I think competition is great for that reason. I don't think if it wasn't for Universal doing the stuff they're doing, they wouldn't feel this pressure to do these things. So I hope that they do feel that pressure and they do get this stuff built quickly. And, listen, a good old theme park war, I'm good with. I'm fine with it.
Let's do it.
What's the one that you would, everything we talked about, what's the one you would want to see the most personally?
Oh, personally? I've wanted a nighttime parade for years. So I would say that one, but also a Villain's Land.
I think Villains
I
Land.
really do want that.
I think that one. I think that one had the most impact. I really do.
Yeah.
Now,
At first, I was like, they're not going to do that, and I'm like, oh, they might. They might do it.
I think they should.
Yeah.
Now the one I'm not. If they do Cars Land back there, I'm not the most excited for that. I do love Cars. I think selfishly for like, I think our son would love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ride is something.
But he'll be 15 before it's done.
Enjoy this, son. He's like, I'm 26, Dad. Like,
Right.
I know. I remember
It's
back
true.
when you were young and they announced this ride. But
Right.
yeah, I think Villains would be, and again, yeah, I think that one would be the one that to me is the no-brainer to do, which means Disney probably won't do it.
Hey, now.
I shouldn't say that.
Hey, now.
Maybe, hey, prove me wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got, they've had this rumor out there for years now about doing villain stuff. And, it's been they do villains themed after hours, different things. And those things have always been a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime they bring
Very
out villains
popular.
characters, there's always lines for, almost hours to see them.
Yeah.
So I think they know they're popular.
Yeah.
So.
But the panel happens this weekend on Saturday again. So, obviously tune into the many live streams that will be happening across social media. So I'm sure you'll find one. Just go to TikTok. Literally. There'll be many. There'll be so many.
I would say don't do that. Because I might go live on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that.
Right,
Okay.
I know. I didn't know you were going to promote in a whole other platform.
Okay. Jared might go live on YouTube.
Maybe. We'll see.
And if he does, where can you find him?
It'd be at Captain Magic. So
Yes.
if I just don't know, without them doing a live stream, I don't know where the information is going to come from and if it's going to make sense to do a live stream. So it's kind of up in the air. Obviously, I'll make some videos about it. We'll cover it on the show here. But
Yeah.
if there is a steady stream of information coming in and there's someone on the ground reporting it, I'll do a live stream to talk about it probably because I think it'd be interesting. But I just don't know at this point without Disney doing a live stream, like how that information is going. I'm assuming like Scott Gustin's going to have tweets about it.
Oh, there'll be tweets all over the place.
Right.
Yep,
So,
you're fine. But